Hi boys and girls, happy Superhero Saturday. My name's Miss Carisse and today we're going to be hearing a story about a superhero. I want you guys to try to guess who it is. It's a he. He has long claws and he has an ability to heal completely. Did you guys guess it? If you guessed Wolverine, you were right. So today we're going to be reading a story from the Superhero Storybook Collection. You ready? Let's hear about Wolverine. James didn't know he had special powers. He was just a kid growing up in the Canadian wilderness, among the fierce Wolverines. He never knew that he had something in common with that animal until one day when he felt very scared and angry while trying to defend his family and his best friend Rose. It was then that James felt very strange. Without warning, he discovered he was something more than human. Rose saw what was happening, and she knew that people might see James as something threatening and scary. So she grabbed him, and together they ran from the house. They needed to go to a place where no one knew them, and no one would hurt James. They arrived in a mining town, where they met a man named Smitty, who was the head of a work site. Smitty told James to remove his gloves. He wanted to see if his hands were good and strong enough for working. Rose was scared. She thought Smitty would see James's wounds from his claws, or worse, the claws themselves. But when James removed his gloves, there were no scars, and even though it seemed impossible, James had healed. In order to keep their secret safe, Rose told the townspeople that James's name was Logan. And as Logan grew up, he left behind his old life. He learned to be strong, to stand up for himself, and always do what he knew was right. He still had claws and was able to heal very easily, but he could taste and hear and smell, and his sense was as well as a wild animal. Time continued to pass, but James didn't seem to age. His healing kept him young. Eventually, he left the woods and began to travel the world. He fought in great wars, and during peacetime, he got married and settled in Japan. But then, one day upon returning home, Logan was kidnapped. The people who took him hooked him up to a machine. They knew that his healing ability would help him survive their experiment. They erased his memory and coated his bones and his claws with an unbreakable metal called adamantium. Logan managed to escape into the forest. He might have died if it hadn't been for James and Heather Hudson. They nursed him back to health, but the only thing he could remember was his name, Logan. James had been working for the government on a superhero project called Department H. He called himself Guardian. He thought Logan would make a good hero too. He gave Logan a costume and a code name, the Wolverine. Together, Guardian and Wolverine formed a superhero team called Alpha Flight. Wolverine helped Alpha Flight to victory in many battles. And even though he was proud of Alpha Flight and cared deeply for James and Heather, he didn't feel at home. He still felt alone, and he spent a lifetime searching for a family. And then he finally found it. He joined a team of mutants. Like him, they were outcasts, each a loner. But together, they were the X-Men. He had been called many things in his lifetime. James, Logan, a Canadian hero, and X-Men. But the one thing that would never change is that he would always be the unstoppable Wolverine. The end. Thanks for tuning into Superhero Saturday, guys. Tune in next week and check our website for more programs. See you later.